This episode of Nothing Like a Good Book is about the Amazon best-selling, multi-award-winning book that has won the hearts of readers around the globe. A true inspiration to others who may be facing abusive marriages and need help. In the wake of emotional, physical, and sexual abuse, what does it take to recover, heal, and gain stability? How does the love of a mother for her children keep her going in even the darkest moments? Mia Odeh shares her journey to answer these questions in her revealing new memoir, Mia's Odyssey, Taking Back My Soul. That's the name of the book. It's written by and with Mike Ball. Mia Odeh revisits her life story beginning in Palestine at age 16, where she was forced into an arranged marriage. We've heard plenty about these marriages. But after being brought to the United States, Mia realizes that her marriage is not only unwanted but unsafe, as she experiences almost daily sexual and physical assault. Welcome, Mia. Lovely to have you.
Hey, Mark. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. It's my pleasure.
You're most welcome. Did I pronounce that correctly, Odeh?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, you
goody,
did.
goody. Okay. Wow, man, this best-selling now, multi-award-winning book, congrats on that. It's a winner of dozens of book awards from around the globe. But
Thank you.
it does shine an unflinching light on the horrors of domestic abuse and reveals how you, a survivor, with enough determination, can find the resources to forge a path to freedom. That's true.
That is true, yes.
Well, you were imprisoned in an abusive marriage. How can a woman whose culture emphasizes female submission escape the clutches of her husband? I mean, after being forced to depend on this kind of violent and untrustworthy man, you were forced to marry. How can you learn to be independent?
Well, to be forced to be with someone that you don't want, that's definitely a really hard on a person in every way. To be able to determine to get away from an abusive situation, nobody deserves to be abused, no matter who it is. And my kids are my strength. I always, until today, I will do my best to always provide the best for them, for survival, for happiness, and for me too, because we all deserve to be happy. And it's definitely not an easy to get away from someone that's been abusing you for years. It's very scary. But once you take the first step and you know you deserve to be happy, you didn't deserve to be abused. From there, just don't look back.
Wow. I mean, you've had an amazing and difficult journey. What kept you going in the middle of the darkest days of your marriage?
My kids, just the look in their eyes, the confusion for them to see what is going on. And it's hard to really explain to them. Their own father would put them and their mother through that much abuse, and they have to witness that. You can't really explain that to them. So just to see them terrified and scared, and for myself too, you got to do something about it, because nobody's going to come and look for you. You have to reach out, and you want the best for your family. They depend on you. They look up to you for survival.
Yes, it's amazing the power that children have, isn't it? I'm going to take an excerpt here early from the book. I sat with my hands folded on my lap. We're going to go back in time now for the listeners. You were wearing your long black dress and black hijab.
Yes.
My mother was chatting, laughing with two women, while a thoroughly unpleasant man sitting near me stared at me with what I could only interpret as a source of, or as a sort of curious lust. I was only 15 years old, and I was doing my best to be invisible, but it obviously wasn't working. You were the youngest of 13 children. Gee, 3 other children in your family died as toddlers, and you're not sure how you know this, because your mother never spoke of the children she lost, but those siblings were buried somewhere under our house. Dear, oh dear, tell us about that.
It is a terrifying thought to know that you have family members. And I guess when they expanded on the house, I know about them, but I never know, and she never talked about what really happened. They were born and they were still like toddlers and kind of that age and when they passed away, but don't know what is the reason for them passing away.
Well, you do say that your mother was not a nice woman. She ruled the house, and your father in a sort of simmering rage half the time, and you didn't know how any mother could hate her daughters as much as she did, but you really believe that your mother did. What do you think instigated all of that?
Because I can see how she treated me and my other sisters, and clearly you can tell that there is a divide of how she treats her boys compared to her girls. I guess our fault back in that culture that we're born females. If you're a female, you're just kind of looked down on, and it's very easily that you can bring the shame to the family. Me deciding to say no to my ex-husband for being abused, to her that brought the shame to the family. Boys cannot bring shame to the family.
No,
And
no, they can get away with murder, right? But oh no, not the daughters.
exactly.
You write that I've heard it said that every young girl dreams of her wedding day. You lived in absolute dread of yours, sitting in your chair next to your new husband. You felt like you were out of your body, sadly floating over everything that was going on, detached, almost a spectator. It must have been horrible.
It was really hard. I was young. I didn't understand at all like what it is really to be married, not to mention to be that close to a man that you could see the look in his eyes. It's just terrifying. It just gives you a really cold feeling in your stomach. It's really hard. And to know that you are going to be taken home with him after the wedding is done.
And you're only 15, weren't you? You're only 15 at this stage, right?
Yes. Yeah. When we got engaged, it was a little bit over 15, and we got married like at 16 something.
Mm-hmm. Because traditions in that country, of course, and you have no say in the matter, right? It's just done. You do as you're told.
Yeah, in a lot of the families, arranged marriages at a young age, it is very common. Like when you say, oh, they arranged their marriage when they were like 11 or 12 and they get to a certain age and they can have them married. That's very normal. It's not a shock at all. In some families, they do acknowledge the female and they talk to her about, who is coming to ask for her marriage. But in that culture, it's very common for arranged marriages. It's not a surprise.
You've won a lot of awards with this book. I think you've touched a lot of hearts. Sadly, there's a lot of women in similar situations. Just share with us who Mike Ball is. He wrote this with you?
Yes, he's an amazing writer. He definitely did a great job expressing and putting it out there to the readers of how I felt and what was really going on. He did an amazing job.
Well, your English is pretty good, but I guess the expression could be difficult. The husband's name was Fayed, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, verbal and physical abuse. It became constant.
He was an awful person.
Yeah, you also write that when you did have time to yourself, you'd sit in the window looking out, wondering if, how it would feel to love and to be loved. You imagine yourself in a different life, enjoying a nice dinner with your soulmate, perhaps, talking about things that you both cared about.
I did.
Yeah, then you'd spend the night crying into your pillow, praying for release. Now, we're still in Palestine at this stage, aren't we?
We were still in Qatar overseas because when we got married, we came to Arizona for a short time. And I was pregnant with my first son, and then we went back to Qatar. It's in the Gulf area. We were there for a while before we came back. Yeah, it's definitely always came across my mind, like, what does it feel to really look forward to your husband coming home and having a meal with him? How does it feel to be really loved and loved back and make food just coming from your heart because you care? I never had that feeling with him. Just looking at him gives you really anxiety because you can just tell in his face and the way he talks down on you constantly. Anything could really make him angry. So, and I was not allowed to express my feeling. I was not allowed to watch TV, anything I want. As soon as he walks in, it is over. You're just done. You can't go out without his permission. You got to tell him what time you're going, what time you're coming back. And if it's a no, you cannot negotiate with him.
We're going to move to the part where the cab pulled up to take this monster to the airport. You're all lined up with the kids and the family as some sort of dutiful, loving family to say goodbye to him. And the minute he was out of sight, though, you began to sing in Arabic and dance for joy. The children thought, gee, Mommy's lost her mind. But you can honestly say that it was also the best 6 months you'd known in your entire life. How come he'd gone for 6 months? Where did he go to at that stage?
When we came in 2004 to Arizona, and he was looking for work, and he found a job in Michigan. And I guess it was a 6 months of trial to see if he would want to keep the job. It's between him and the company he applied for.
I see.
Kids were at school at that time in Arizona, so I can't take them out without him knowing for sure that he is going to get the job. So he came to Michigan for 6 months. It gave us a chance for the kids to finish the school year for the rest of the year. So it came kind of lined up together. By the time he knew that he got the job, the kids were done with school. And he told us, okay, he got the job, and now we can move to Michigan with him. But it was a really great 6 months. We had the house to ourselves.
Yes.
It was great. We watched anything we want. Definitely the kids ate a lot of pizza, and I was okay with that. It was a great time.
You were just living the American normal life without being
great.
abused, right? One way or another. Good on you. But now I want to get to the part, though, where it took the guts for you to take off, that you did. I mean, there was one time there he came back to the terminal. You wrote in the book, this was so sad. I saw Fayed standing there scowling at us when he came, into the airport. He simply turned his back on us and walked away, expecting us to follow behind like his flock of sheep. This man didn't even have a hug to give his children. Now, Danny, your little boy, he climbed into your lap and whispered, Mommy, how come it's cold to be around my father and so warm to be around you? And you said, because it's my job to be your sunlight.
Yeah.
I thought that was lovely. You paused for a few seconds and thought of an afternoon back in Qatar a couple of years earlier, a frightened and desperate woman. But anyway, now he's gone. He took off. You ran from bedroom to bedroom trying to make good decisions about what the kids and yourself were likely to need. The decision was made. You have an amazing and difficult journey. Once you were able to leave your abusive husband, life was still challenging for a very long time, though, wasn't it? Including a period of time in which you were homeless and pregnant. How were you eventually able to gain both independence and stability?
And I remember that word, I got to learn it, the word tenacity. Don't ever give up. You always listen to your inside and your intuition. And I am the kind of person that even when I was back in Palestine, you have that little voice that tells you, like, there is just no way this is really it. It just has to be more to life. And it's not okay for us to get treated that way just because we're born females. Same thing when I got here. I was just able to express that voice that I was never allowed to really express it back home. Don't give up on yourself. I want more for me, and I want more for my family. And I did it. And it was hard. Your past will always be part of your life, and that's what brought you here. And that's where your job to really, out of your good heart, to deliver that to other people that are going through the same thing. But don't give up. There is always a way. There's always a way. It's not easy. It's terrifying. It took me so long of thinking and trying really hard and fear to take the first step when I left. It was terrifying. I felt like I was going to pass out of fear, but I did it anyway. Didn't know what's coming up next. I walked out.
I don't think a man. I don't think a man could put himself in your shoes, right? As the female with children, having to leave quickly, having to get away. But weren't you scared that he may find you, kill you, or something?
Well, when I left that day, he managed to find me, and I called the police, and they showed up right away, and they moved me from one place to another, and they arrested him until they made sure that me and my kids are safe in a hotel until the following day, which is we went to a safe house after that. And from there, they helped me with a social worker for divorce and to kind of learn how to live here, because I never did it by myself at all. So that was my first time. to be homeless, to look at my kids' faces. Nobody knows what's going on. They got questions. I don't have answers. I myself didn't know what was going to happen the following day. So I started from rock bottom, and I had to climb the ladder one step at a time to learn. My English was not very strong still. I don't know how to live in the country. So they have to teach me how to apply for a job, for insurance, to get a home, everything, one thing at a time. And 3 months was not enough. It took a lot to learn it, but I'm grateful for everything that they did. And those are the kind of services that they offer to women when you leave. You're going to be okay. There is always help out there. You
So there
just
were
have-
lovely people that helped you then.
Yes, absolutely amazing. I will always be grateful. The police were one of the first helpers that they came to my rescue and told me, here in America, you can speak your mind. You don't have to be afraid. I didn't know. I thought abuse is just everywhere, and it's okay for a man to abuse his woman here. So they told me, no, that doesn't work that way.
Yeah, well,
He
it does. Don't you worry about
pay
that.
for it.
But it's in a different vein to what you've had to come from. I mean, think about it, listeners. The woman can hardly speak English. She's got this monster of a husband, right, that beats her up and God knows what. And then they get to America, and she doesn't know a soul, but has to make a move, decide that, this is it, now or never. And then you've got to go out on your own and face the world and think he could be on your trail as well. So there's an excerpt in the book that I read, which it was rather interesting. When the police business that you mentioned, you said, will you take my children? And the officer looked at you for a few seconds before you answered. No, ma'am, he said. I can promise you that nobody is going to take your children away from you. And you said, thank you. And you wanted to hug him with gratitude. Hug, hug, hug. But this is not something proper for a Palestinian girl like you to do.
Yeah, I absolutely remember every step of my journey.
It's amazing.
Fayez, he thought that if he uses the kids to scare me, to keep me, his kids were not meant anything to him. That was a possession just to also have more control over me.
Yes.
When he left, he never looked back at him. But to tell me that if you leave or you do anything, they are going to take your kids because you don't know how to take care of them here. I expressed all that conversation to the officer, and he told me he is just trying to scare you. We're not telling you what to do, but that's how things work over here. You take good care of your kids, everybody's going to be just fine.
Mia, the book is Mia's Odyssey, Taking Back My Soul, and it was written by Mike Ball and with Mia, and this is all being heard on Nothing Like a Good Book with Mark Bishop. Mia, at the end of your book, you shared a list of goals that you wrote in 2019. Some of these you've already accomplished. What else is left on the list?
I am working on finishing my degree in criminal justice. I definitely am working in a career where I always felt like I want to do. I'm learning a lot about business. I am situated when it comes financially and security for me and for my family. I bought my own home.
Very good, very good. Well, I was going to ask you, as a single mom, how have you been able to accomplish so much?
Again, tenacity. Don't give up. You deserve to be happy, and you deserve to give that to yourself and to your family. It can be done. It's not easy, but don't give up. That's always. Don't give up on yourself.
Mia, your
Nobody's
children.
gonna come and give it to you. You gotta go get it.
Go get it and don't give up no matter what. Look, your children have been with you, right throughout this journey, and also must have been deeply affected by the abusive environment and by the subsequent instability that you've faced after leaving your marriage. How are they doing right now?
They're doing amazing. I'm sure everything that they witnessed, it's in the back of their mind, but they learn that that's not a way to be a person with your partner or with people in general. And out of all that hardship that they went through, that definitely did teach them, don't ever be like that. That's just not a way to really be a good person.
How do they feel about their father? How do they feel about their father now, though?
They don't want anything to do with him.
Nothing
Since he
at
left
all.
the country, they never looked back. They don't even talk about him. They don't bring him up. It's just like he does not exist.
In their life, right?
Yeah, I'm proud of them. They work really hard. My oldest son is a sheriff. I have 2 Marines. My daughter is a social worker.
Wow, 2
And the other
Marines
one,
and a sheriff.
yes, sir. Yeah, I
Welcome
know.
to America.
A lot to be proud of. With
Good on
everything.
you. That's great. Well, at this point in your life, what do you consider is your greatest achievement now?
My kids, they're my world. They're my family. They're my friends. They're my everything.
Your kids.
That's the top of the line of achievement. I'm working on opening a restaurant, so that's a good achievement. Buying a home, that's really also achievement. Some things I never thought I would be able to accomplish. When I left my ex-husband, it's like walking into a really dark path because you don't really know what's out there. But all that accomplishment, and with my kids' support, with us supporting each other and being there for each other, we're very tight.
It's like a bad dream, wasn't it?
It's awesome.
Like a bad dream, you've come to heaven. Well, Utopia, you know, you did right, though. To this day, I still struggle with insecurity. I'm afraid that the life I have now is too good to be true. After 30 years of abuse and uncertainty, I can't help wondering when this bubble will burst. Sometimes at night, I wake up in cold sweats, buried under a feeling of crushing uncertainty and doubt. Some days, it's still very hard for me to trust anybody or even look at myself in the mirror without seeing the face of a terrified little girl. But, you know, then I look around me and realize that I really have emerged from that long nightmare to become the woman that God meant me to be. The book is called Mia's Odyssey, Taking Back My Soul. And it is an Amazon best-selling, multi-award-winning book that has won the hearts of readers around the globe. And you're listening to Mia Odeh. Now, I want to ask you this. What do you hope, and I know you're going to say never give up, but what do you hope readers will learn from your story?
That wherever you come from, abuse is everywhere. And we're also, again, wherever you come from, you really can do something about it. And to be able to come to America, and that helps you really give you a voice. I'm very grateful to be here. And for any woman out there, or like some men, they do also go through a hard time. If I can do it, come in, and I hit rock bottom a million times. I had no language and no support, and I started off, and I was able to get it done. I am in a great position right now. If I can do it, anybody can do it. No matter where you are, you can get it done.
There are tons of critiques. I'm only going to use one in this particular app, Mia's Odyssey. It's a compelling, uplifting book that can be difficult to emotionally digest. It is also rewarding because her will to survive is strong. Her ability to bend but not break is admirable. And her love for the children more powerful than the abuser's muscles. And that's from Brad Butler. He's the author. And 5 stars he gives it too. It's amazing. Now, where can one get hold of this book, Mia?
It is sold on Amazon.
Okay. And you've got a site too. I'm putting it up on my site, on markbishopmedia.com. Just go to the button at the top, you know, the tab. It says Nothing Like a Good Book. It shows, and you go down to Nothing Like a Good Book, and you'll be able to see her photo and the cover of the book, lots of details to go to the website and so on. And all the links are there as well. And there's also, terrifically these days, there's a trailer, okay, all about the book, a video trailer, which is very interesting. Yeah, that's all going to be there as well. It'll be there for a long time. And look, I think the thing is terrific from a point of view of the lessons that you give, the encouragement that you give to other women, I think, who read this book. I think it's going to make a lot of other women very happy from a point of view of realizing that they're not Robinson Crusoe, they're not all alone. They've got lots of people who, you know, could be there for them. They've just got to make the decision and do the move like you have done. It's a credit to you, Mia. I mean, did you ever think you'd write a book?
No, I mean, I'm the kind of person that I dream a lot, but I never thought that would actually, by myself, I know I couldn't do it because English is my second language.
Yes.
But with the help of Mike Ball, we worked together really well. And we both, when we wrote it together, the goal was really to put it out there for anybody that when they get a hold of the book and look at it, look, if she can do it, I can do it. I still, in some situations in life, I could look at some motivational kind of situation and say, well, if that person can do it, I'm sure I should be able to do that too. On a lot of different kind of levels, not just like life survival kind of things.
You know, it's interesting, Mia, from a point of view of how you do it to help people. But what do you think it is when there are a lot of cases like this, but not so much like yours? I mean, coming from, you know, another country like that, but being the winner of dozens of book awards from around the globe, what do you think it is that, you know, really, really made this so popular for readers?
I'm sorry, what do you mean by that?
What makes this so different, do you think? What comes through as a shining light with this book? The biggest thing of all. I mean, it's won a lot of awards around the globe. It's different. It's something that's, you know, but you're not the only woman going through this, right?
Absolutely. No, I'm not the only one. And like I always say, like whatever, like in this whole world, what we have in common and different, all the cultures and all the race is the abuse. It's so common, unfortunately. And if we all work together, if we have the courage to really reach out and help that person, if you know anybody that is being abused, reach out to them, but be gentle with them because they are in a really fragile state. Help them out. If you feel like you cannot help them out, refer them to someone that can. There is a lot of organizations that can. And if you're here, you definitely have a lot of options that people can really do something about it. You just have to really, you owe it to yourself to have that courage to really make sure you be in a spot where you're safe for you, and if you have family, for them too.
Well, Mia, though the details of your story are unique, there are unfortunately many women and children who have been victims of abusive marriages and relationships. What advice would you give to anyone who finds themselves in this kind of situation?
You deserve to be happy. It is not your fault how that other person is treating you. Reach out. Don't stay in an abusive situation because it only gets worse. It'll never get better. It'll get worse. It is scary to take the first step, but once you take it, don't look back. Just keep going. And imagine that you're only going to be okay as you go further away from that person. Don't look back. It's scary, but it can be done. Don't give up on yourself. You deserve to be happy.
Oh, you're encouraging. You make the hairs on my back of my neck stand up. It's very good. So listen, Mia Odeh, what's next for you personally and professionally? You talked about a restaurant, this, that. Busy little girl.
I definitely want to build a lot of memories with my family. I want to take my very first vacation ever. Probably hang out with my kids, take more pictures, learn. I still got a lot to learn on just life here in general and on being a business person. And I really want to return the favor to everybody that helped me and was there for me. I want to be there for people that they come my way that I know I can make a difference in their life.
Lovely.
I have a lot of goals and it involves my family and anybody who comes my way.
Absolutely lovely. You're right, Mia. Pay it forward. Marvelous. The book is Mia's Odyssey, Taking Back My Soul, by Mia Odeh and Mike Ball. Go to Amazon.com, of course, and also go to markbishopmedia.com. Go to Nothing Like a Good Book, and you'll see all the details that you need. And have a look at the trailer. It's rather interesting. Mia, it's been a pleasure. I wish you all the luck. Welcome to America, and I wish you all the luck in the world, okay?
Thank you so much for your time, sir. My pleasure. I appreciate your time.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
You're so welcome.